Hey everyone. So the final step in our process of creating our recipe wireframe is to understand how our layout should change when we go from mobile to a desktop size. So the reason why we started with mobile first is because it's easier to code that way. Remember that we learned in our last class that HTML should always start with your smallest screen size first. That's how you should decide how you can order the content. So when we take a look at our wireframe here and we take a look at our iPhone S artboard, you're going to see that things are pretty much in one column, and you can get a feel for how to structure the HTML using just this wireframe. But what might happen if we make this a little bit larger, if we go on a larger screen? The layout's going to get more complicated. Regardless of that, you're going to structure the HTML the same way and let CSS handle the hard work of changing the layout. So we're not going to learn CSS today. We're going to learn that in the next class, but I want you to start thinking about responsive design and how that might change as you go into your next layout by working with a wireframe today. So let's see how we can do that. The first thing I'm going to do is select my artboard. Now notice when I select my artboard that some things are changing on the right here. So when I'm off of this and I select this, we've got some more options to the right. And one of them is responsive resize. This is off by default, but I'm going to turn it on. And what happens when we do this? Well, what will happen is your wireframe will try to resize as you drag it in and out. If I turn that off and I do the same thing, it will stay static. So in here, I'm just going to leave this as is. I'm going to click the artboard name, hold Option to click and drag and copy, and make a new, larger artboard. And I'm going to now enable the responsive resize. And I know what screen width I want to target next. I want to target a tablet size, tablet vertical. That's going to be 768 pixels wide. So I'm just going to do 768 here and let that resize. And I'm going to double click this and rename this tablet vertical. Perfect. And from here, it's pretty easy to just kind of fix and tidy things up. This mostly looks about right, but instead of having this repeat like this, what I might choose to do instead is change how one of these individual things works. And then maybe, what can I do? Can I repeat this the other way as well? What are my options here? I think there's a way to repeat this horizontally and vertically, but maybe not with the same content. All right, so what can we do here? We can do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what I can do next is how many ingredients do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to do a 3 by 3 grid here. And I'm going to just cut, oops, didn't want to do that, huh? And paste here, copy and paste. So we have one project, big idea, group of stakeholders, pop, completely unrelated, and then we want that very important person. It looks like that didn't come over. So I'm just gonna grab it from over here and put it in over here. And then using my repeat grid and clicking on the top to get the green handles, I'm just going to take that up. And now I have that resized the way I want. And I might just like adjust the sizing, the spacing of this a little bit here so it lines up nicely with the edges. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, that's looking really nice. And then from there, all I have to do is bring my directions up. And notice that my stuff has changed here a little bit. So my content has changed a bit, and that means that it's not cutting off at the same place I'm expecting anymore. So just for ease of use, try and keep like roughly the same aspect ratio here. So aspect ratio is that relationship between width and height. Just going to keep that about the same. And then go through and just make sure that I only have the direction I want in there. So again, just roughly trying to keep that aspect ratio about the same. Not bad at all. So it's pretty quick. Let's next make a desktop layout size. That'll handle the really wide version. So for desktop, we are going to do, let's do 1200 pixels. That will give us enough room to get a feel for how a wider version will work. And we're going to call this small desktop. Now, what are some things that we might need to adjust? Well, one thing I'm noticing is this line length is really long. So if I hold Option down while clicking and dragging, I can set this to be a little bit nicer line length. I don't really want this many ingredients next to each other. I want that same 6 square grid, and I want to just move these in the middle. And you can see that we're almost creating like a little bit of a pattern here. You can get a good feel for it. All right, so let's adjust our directions, realign that as well. And I'm gonna leave these large, nice and big. Now, notice as I'm resizing that I'm watching for the little purple lines to line up with something I already have. I'm gonna do the same here. Again, holding Alt just to make sure that we've got everything resizing at the same time. All right, so that's pretty good. That's looking really nice. What looks kind of off, this ingredients doesn't look great where it is right there. And then I think the aspect ratio of these feels like a little bit off. I want to keep those the same. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to send it to the back by doing Shift Command left bracket. So that will send it all the way to the back. All right, so last thing we need to do is just select that, drag the artboard down. Oops. Again, let's just make sure we've got the actual artboard and not the whole. Oh, you know what? I know why this is happening. It's because responsive resize is on. This is a good time to turn that off and just resize the artboard up. You can turn it back on now, and then it will try and adjust everything, including horizontally, as much as it likes. Awesome. So now we have a great idea of what our wireframe is going to look like and what the content priority should be between all of the headings and content that we built in our Google Doc. So now that we've done that, the next step is really just to translate that into HTML. So from here, what you want to do is do the next part of the assignment, which is actually start to build this in HTML. And as you do that, I want you to think carefully about what sort of tags you're using. So let's take a quick look at this wireframe here and just think about some tags we might use. This would probably be an H1, right? This recipe for the disaster. This here would probably be a paragraph. This next one is going to be a new tag that we're going to learn about. We have two tags that we're about to learn called list tags. One is an unordered list, and an unordered list is going to come out looking just like this with bullet points. We're also going to learn about an ordered list, which is going to come out with these numbers. So that's what you're going to want to try and use with these. Even though the style is different, semantically, it makes sense to use an unordered list for your ingredients and ordered list for your directions. And finally, we have some image tags and some other CSS that we'll be doing and building on as we go. But for now, focus on marking up your HTML according to the smallest screen size. That's what I want you to complete for this week, along with your own set of wireframes. As we explore CSS, we'll learn how to actually put those things together. So with that, have a fabulous week, and I will see you next class.